Anonymous today. Emily, today we have a question that came in, and the question is, what makes a project manager a star?
Oh, that's a great question, because it's one thing to be employed as a project manager and handling all those precious projects. It's another thing to keep getting those projects and to keep getting those team members that are going to be best suited for your job. And I think one of the biggest things is trust. And that is trust among all the stakeholders, the sponsor, the client, your team members. And one way that you're able to really foster this trust is by doing proper planning. And Phil, depending on your project, you may need to do a great deal of planning, and other times you just need to plan the right areas, right?
Right, that's true. I mean, it takes my mind back to a notorious project, the VCF project, the Virtual Case File project. Now, my friends at the FBI, I gave them a little bit of trouble during one of our classes because I asked them, why did that project fail? And lots of them couldn't really answer the question because they weren't aware of how that problem was solved. It was solved with iterative approaches to project management, change-driven approaches. Instead of planning the whole laundry list of things to do, tackle them in an iterative or change-driven fashion, which is agile. So after hundreds of millions of dollars were spent, they finally thought, we should probably try agile. And they did, and that's really how the project got done. So yeah, proper planning the right way.
Absolutely. Not only that, but following best practices. And again, that doesn't mean that you have to follow PMI's best practices or any other body's best practices, but rather those that are going to be the best fit for the type of project you're doing and your organization and the types of stakeholders that you have working with you. Best practices, and then keeping those lessons learned. Do you think lessons learned are ever overkill?
Oh, no. It's a real big deal because at the end of the day, lessons learned become good and best practices, right? So you've got a firm that's working on projects and not gathering lessons learned. What a waste of time. What a waste of effort. What a waste of sweat. But if you took those lessons learned and you put them into a repository, and not just that, you actually enforced some sort of sharing process where people share lessons learned. They don't just get shut up in a vault, but people take them and use them. At the end of the day, you become better and better, and that's how you get these best practices.
And then the last thing that can make a project manager a star is communication. That is listening, understanding what it is that your stakeholders want and desire, but also being able to talk to your team and your sponsor and everyone else surrounding your project who needs to know specific pieces of information.
Absolutely. Communication is key. What you're saying actually brings to mind a lot of project managers who think communication is all about sending out that email to all and sundry. No, it's not. Communication is also about active listening. Do you know how many PMs just go by their projects without listening actively to what the stakeholders saying and gathering all of that information? I call it temperature gauge readings, because you want to gauge their temperature, find out, are they mad, are they happy, know their hot buttons, know if they're having a good day or a bad day because of your project. If you could do all that, that's communication as well. But lots of times people don't remember that.
So nothing on this list is necessarily hugely technical, right?
That's true.
Any person who's a project manager can hone these skills and become a star.
That's true, absolutely. So I think with that, those are some great ideas on how to become a project manager. I call it superstar because if you can really do this, it looks easy. People say talk is cheap. All right, so it's cheap to look at this, but to take it and do it is a big deal. If you have any questions about project management that you'd like us to talk about, please visit pmanonymous.com and send them in.